Hello and welcome everybody to the next installment in Daughter of Alba, third book, Adventures in Calandria, The Harding Haunted Library, Part 2. You decided to go to the library, and it was all you could do to prevent Siobhan from actually spending the night there or getting herself locked in, hiding behind the stack so that she could spend the night in the library. It was tough, but you managed. So you came in the morning because you were going to attend the grand opening. But as you walked towards the building, you saw... I forgot her name.
Samara.
Samara. Yeah. I know that we've got a Louise who's a bartender. Samara, here she is. Run out of the library, shut the door, place herself against it, breathe heavily and say, we cannot go in there. There's something wrong. Something is seriously wrong. You did go inside, and the first thing you noticed was you were being pelted with torn pieces of paper.
Yeah.
And you encountered 3 beings that you've never seen before, about this size, long tail, very human face, like, you know, looking like they're wearing masks, furry faces with little hands, and you gave them some fruit and they really liked it.
Yeah.
And you found a book, and it was lying on the floor, open in between some of the shelves, and it was a trilogy of adventures. And this was part 1, and it tells the story of somebody who was shipwrecked.
Yep.
And landed on an island where he met people, and he also met creatures that look exactly like the ones that you just saw at the front of the library. And after you'd given them fruit, they actually sat down on the desk, on the table, and were just basically quietly nibbling at the apples or pears or whatever it was. It was pears actually you had. So, and then you heard a huge roar from the very back of the library. You pulled out your sword. You walk towards the end of the shelf. Do you peer around?
Yes, but I will try to be stealthy.
Okay, then. Try schleichen.
Which she's not good at, but you can give it a go anyhow. Nope, I only rolled a 10. That's not enough. I'm sorry, I have something in my eye.
Yeah, so the two of you are not really stealthy. However, whatever is growling is actually quite loud.
Okay.
So you peer around the shelf.
Yep.
Towards the back of the library, and you see one of these. It's loading. Still loading. You should now see it in the chat.
It's loading.
Okay.
I don't like this.
So you can see it now.
Yes, I can see it now.
So you see one of those, and you have never seen anything like it before. And it's growling, and it kind of looks aggressive. And it's also quite large.
By any chance, do we see a book at its feet?
Roll Wahrnehmung.
Because the question is that a new book, or do all of them come from the same book?
Well, I mean, this was part 1. It says it's a trilogy, so you had part 1. She didn't see
anything. Oh boy,
anything.
I rolled a 2, so no, I have no clue.
But you can see, I mean, it's been walking between the shelves, so there is kind of like everything is a little bit in disarray. So I'd say that there are some books, not just the one. And Siobhan basically peers around as well, and she says, I preferred the little ones at the front.
What the hell is this?
I have no idea, but I don't have a weapon, and I also didn't bring my shield. I would advise not to engage just now, because you would be on your own, and it looks very dangerous. Did you see the tail? It's got a stinger.
Let's go back.
Samara basically is completely pale, and she's like, can we maybe just burn the place?
All the books. You're not burning all the books. And Aisling is surprised to say that because she doesn't care that much about books. Also, honestly, if we burn it down, these, well, maybe not these ones. She will point to the monkeys. But that thing will probably survive this because it can just fly out. You don't want to put that on the town.
What the hell is it? What's going on?
Something very magical is dragging characters from books into this world. That's at least my interpretation so far.
It's a good idea. Maybe we should just withdraw. And she basically silently and quietly tries to move away.
Aisling will make sure that she's the last one. And she will, like, slowly leave one last pair for the monkeys on the table. And we'll see that Siobhan and Samara leave the library, and we close and lock the door behind us.
You do that. And
Samara, are there like good fighters around here? I think we should get together a little crew and clean up, and then search what on earth is triggering this.
Well, I mean, we have a couple of town guards, but I mean, you see, fighting really, it's really just like somebody having too much to drink and then kind of like, getting into a fist fight.
Okay. She will put her hand on Siobhan's shoulder. Why don't you grab your stuff and come back, and we will do a cleanup, darling?
And she runs off. She actually makes a point of being really quick.
While she's out, Aisling will ask Samara, so it happened tonight. Did you add anything to the library yesterday?
Well, I mean, to be quite honest, I still had a crate of books that had been donated. And I was just basically unpacking it. But then it was too late, so I just left the books.
Is one of the books that I found part of that?
Well, I mean, the thing is, I've never seen that book, so it must be, because I know every book, I've at least looked at it once, but I can't remember the Adventurous Trilogy Part 1.
Is the chest then still in the library?
Yeah, the crate is still there.
Aisling would ask her to describe where to find it.
Oh, it's 1, 2, 3. It's behind the 4th shelf on the left.
Okay.
So right in the middle, so that whichever books I got, I could basically just...
Was it a simple crate, or was it more like a chest with something?
No, it's a wooden crate.
Huh.
Like, it was nailed shut, so I basically just got a hammer, like one with the 2 prongs, and I just pulled out the nails and then opened the crate. And there were some cookery books. And it wasn't really ordered, but I remember taking out a book that was really a cookery book. I looked at it. It had great recipes for cakes. I thought I was going to check it out myself one time and basically just try some of those recipes. But, maybe the cakes are haunted too.
Oh, I'm not sure. But that's the only thing that makes sense why it's happening now. Or did you add anything on decoration or anything else?
Oh, well, I painted the sign. But that just says, "Welcome to the grand opening." I'm not sure if that's the reason.
I highly doubt, except you used magical paint.
Not that I know of. And I'm pretty sure I didn't invite whatever that thing was.
Let's just give it a try. Maybe I will... Aisling will look at the sign. Would we be able to, like, put it down? Just, like, unhook
You've
or
already
something
taken
like
it down.
that?
She had already taken it down earlier because she
that
didn't
was-
want anyone to come near the library.
Okay, so plan is when Siobhan is back with her armor, we both go in, you stay outside here, and make sure no one goes inside.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem.
And we will try to keep as many books alive as possible.
Yeah. I think the main thing is, like you rightly said, keep that thing in and maybe get rid of it, and also make sure that you don't die. Because it looked like it meant business.
Yeah, it was big. One thing I will try, don't be mad at me, I will probably try to destroy the one book that we found and see if the monkeys might vanish.
I'd be sad to see them go because they were kind of cute, but yeah.
Yeah, but it would be a nice sign because it would mean we only need to look for the book where that monster came out of. And maybe that's the way to get rid of it. If not, at least to stop more things coming out. Because what we skipped through the book, that there's more potentially that is in there than cute monkeys.
At that moment, Siobhan comes running.
I will give her a short moment to catch her breath.
I'm not saying that I'm ready, but this is as ready as I will be.
My idea is, when we go in sneakily, grab the book that we found or that I found. Don't yell at me, destroy it and see what happens. Just to make sure that it's... because it seems to be linked to the book, I think.
Yeah, try. Okay. So Samara unlocks the door again.
Yep, we will first of all peek inside and see what we see.
You see the monkeys still sitting on the desk, and they have started eating the pear, but then they must have grown really tired because they just basically curled up, put their little tails around their bodies, and have now gone to sleep.
Okay, that's fine. And we still hear roaring?
Yeah. But you also hear it's kind of like it doesn't, you now hear more of a pacing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably, or she might be a she. They are probably also not happy to be stuck in a library. Let's see. Okay. Yeah.
I will close the door behind you.
Thank
Knock
you.
3 times. Then I know it's you.
Yes. And Aisling will slowly move forward. Also not to scare the monkeys because they will make noise. And she will first of all look for the book that she found.
Siobhan critted. It was a critical error on her Schleichen. The monkeys wake up.
Monkeys are awake.
Yeah, they're kind of like, they start, they're full of energy, so they start climbing again, and they do this chittering sound. They can be quite noisy. And then you hear a roar from the back. And Siobhan's like, oh, I'm so sorry.
No, all good. Let's grab the book and let's find out maybe.
Okay, you find the book, no problem. How do you want to destroy it?
I would first of all give it Siobhan for a last checkup. If we can see anything like an inscription at the beginning or the back or a sign that looks weird.
Okay,
because
so what
you
she
just
can
don't
do
write
is
a book that magically does things.
She can. By this time she will have received all of her AP back. She can try and see if it's magical.
That would be a choice. While she does that, Aisling would tiptoe towards the crate and would try to grab the crate with the books in hopes it's still there.
It's not magical.
Okay. Not good. Would have been an easier answer if it's magical. I will grab the other books that are still left. Let's see. And Aisling...
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're going towards the crate, then you're actually walking down the aisle and towards the thing. So that's going to be tough. You can try and wait, for example, if it moves away, and then run to the next aisle.
Aisling will try. So she will walk towards the shelf again and will peek around the corner.
Okay. Okay. So now, roll a. Yeah. Okay.
I think on the way there she will turn around and tell Siobhan, maybe talk to Samara if she can grab some meat maybe that thing will be happy if it gets something to eat, at least for a little while.
Okay.
It worked with the monkeys.
Okay, so she goes back to the door, knocks 3 times. You can hear it.
Yeah.
You hear the lock being unlocked, and then you hear whispering. And then the door is closed again, locked again, and presumably Samara is going to go for some meat. Do you want to wait, or do you want to do anything in the meantime?
Aisling is too slow in thinking. She would peek around. I think again halfway she would turn around and she would go to Siobhan. Maybe they even have some herbs that are like calming or making you sleepy, and they can mix it in the meat.
Then we will have to wait until she's back so that I can tell her. Just
okay.
You know.
I'm sorry, I didn't think
it's
about
fine.
that.
It's fine.
And Aisling will now really go towards the corner of the bookshelf and be like,
yeah.
Hi.
So it's roll a D100 for me, please.
Oh God, do I want that? D100. 46.
Okay, you're unlucky. It looks at you. I rolled a 41, so you're higher than me.
Aisling would, at the moment she doesn't have a sword in her hand, she would just be like, I'm just here for and she would point toward the crate. We will try to get you home, darling. She's trying not to show that she's scared, because she knows that from handling basically wolves and bears, don't show that you're frightened, but be calm. And I think that's what she's trying to keep together. I'm not sure what I should roll for that.
I'm thinking
it would probably be a mix of
do you have something like Tierkunde or something?
Yeah, I do. Ist die Frage, should I first do like Willenskraft to make sure that I'm
yes.
really calm?
Yeah.
I think that makes sense first of all to see. But I don't know. That's a 1.
Okay, I'm absolutely calm. And okay, I will give you a bonus die on this, so you can roll twice on your Tierkunde.
Let's see. The second one is a success. The first one was only a 2. The second one is a 13, so 21.
Okay, so it kind of swishes its tail. Now they've got the scorpion-like tail with a stinger on it, and I mean this thing is round about 2.5 meters long, maybe easily 1 meter at the shoulder, so it is quite large, and the tail is really menacing because it's basically holding it above its head, and it's wide because it's got those wings, and it's also a very large part cat, and the meat eaters in the animal kingdom smell really strongly.
Yes.
So it's got this, it probably fed before it came, so it's got this like the smell of decaying meat around it. It is not pleasant, but your willpower is ace. You are keeping your cool, and it is kind of maybe not even hungry, so it's definitely not trying to eat you, and it doesn't perceive you as a threat at the moment, so it's not doing anything except it's swishing its tail, so it looks a little bit uncertain maybe as well.
I would keep my eyes on it, but I would one step after the other walk closer to the crate, and I would in a low calm voice just keep on talking like, aren't you big and handsome fella with quite large wings? We don't have things like you around here usually. How did you get here? Just trying to talk in a, as I said, low voice, and do one step closer to the crate, but she's looking, so as soon as that thing makes attack action, she would A, try to jump back, and B, try to shield out. I also have a shield, don't I?
No, I don't think so, because you have a
two-handed
sword.
there's two-handed sword, so she would pull out the sword then. But at the moment she's just trying to get to the crate and maybe see how that thing reacts to her.
Make another Tierkunde check for me, please.
Let me see. Ooh, 19, so 27.
You know animals. You would say that this is like sometimes when Storm or Percy are kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, so there is something that they are not happy about, but they're also unsure of the situation, so it's more like, I don't like this. This is not good. And I feel unsafe. Mm-hmm. This is the vibes that you're getting from this animal.
Yeah, totally understandable, because I think it has never set foot in a... Probably it's quite tight room for the animal.
Mm-hmm. So you get to the crate.
Mm-hmm.
What do? You take the whole crate. Okay.
I would take the whole crate.
Fine.
Because if Samara was able to drag it here, Aisling should easily be able to.
You can pick it up, yes. You take the crate and you take it to the front of the room.
When I stand at the crate, I would like to have another look, since I'm closer now. Do I see a book near the manticore? I can roll another Wahrnehmung.
Yeah, please do.
That is a 16, so 22 success.
Yeah, there are several books lying there, but none of them are open.
So it might
but there
also
is a
be...
book. No, but there is a book lying next to the crate, and that one is open.
Oh. Then before picking up the crate, she would bend down, but she would go on the knees, so not bending over, so just going to the knees, grabbing the book carefully. She would put that book open like it is on the crate.
Yeah.
And then she would try to slowly back up. And she would go on talking, like, maybe this gives an explanation where you came from. We will hopefully find a way to bring you back, because you don't belong here. And it must be really scary for you as well, just as for us. I highly doubt you understand me, though. And she will slowly then, one step after the other, go backwards, probably the shoulder being close to one of the shelves, so she feels which direction she has to go.
It is actually the second volume of the trilogy, and its subtitle is The Chimera's Curse.
Well, Aisling has no idea what that is. I do, and that's not good. Although it explains the manticore I'm looking at.
Yeah. And that is indeed what you're seeing a manticore, but you've never seen anything like it. You have no name for this thing. It's just like... It's out of a horror novel.
Yeah, well, it looks a little bit like a cat with bat wings, and would I have seen a scorpion in my life? Probably not.
You might have encountered them in Greece. They do have them.
That might be so, but the stinger definitely.
But they are small, and I mean they're not deadly. I mean,
so it definitely looks like a patchwork animal, at least, and a quite big one, because she definitely haven't seen a lion, because no. So she will slowly back up. Honestly, maybe while backing up, she will switch to humming like a child lullaby song, just to see if that helps to keep that thing calm. And then let's see if it lets me back up.
Yeah, it eyes you, but it's also kind of like walking back and forth, and basically at the back there are still two shelves, and then there's the back wall, and it kind of paces along the back wall, and sometimes it vanishes behind one of the shelves, and then it comes back.
Okay, then I will carefully back up as far as I can backwards, and as soon as I have the feeling that it's halfway okay to turn around, I will be a bit quicker to return to Siobhan and the monkeys.
The monkeys have settled down. Siobhan has given them something to eat. And then she says, "So, what have you got here?"
The book where it came from, and she will slowly put down the crate, not to make too much noise, and will hand her the book. It was open like this next to the crate.
She looks at it and okay. And she leaves through and she says, "Oh, look, there are images." And she points to one, and one is that thing. It's a drawing. So it seems like you're absolutely right. They come out of these books.
It also, I think that thing is just blankly, basically standing in a corner and doesn't know what has happened to it. It behaves like any kind of animal that you would put into a room where it doesn't belong.
This book is also not magical.
Okay, so...
Should we try and destroy it anyway?
I would like to try first with the monkey book, because if destroying doesn't bring anything, then at least, well, we can survive with them around. If
yeah,
not,
but I mean, would it not make sense to try this one? Because if this works and it goes, then at least the monkeys will stay, because they're kind of cute.
Yeah, but what if we don't have to destroy it, but do something else with the book?
That's right. Okay, so you take the monkey book?
Yeah, but first of all, I would like just... I would peer through the crate. What kind of books are left? Is there like, I don't know, volume 3, 4, 5, 6?
There is volume 3. It's a trilogy.
Aisling would pull out some rope or leather or any kind of thing that you could use to shut down, to make sure the book is closed.
Mm-hmm.
Just
this one is called
around it.
Third Time's the Curse.
I'm tempted to look inside. At the same time, I'm scared what will happen.
Please don't. Let me check if it's magical.
Do that. Aisling will tie...
This one is definitely magical.
Aisling will tie a rope around it. The question is if that gives a solution or if that will make it worse.
Do you want me to read it?
Let's first of all see what happens when we destroy the monkey book.
All right.
Aisling will do... Oh. The question is how destroy...
We can burn it.
Yeah, but we would need to go outside.
No, there's a mantelpiece over. There's a fireplace.
Yeah, if there's a fireplace, then we would turn on the fire there and would put the book inside and see what happens, hoping that we don't see burning monkeys now, because that is a very scary idea.
Yeah, especially if they start hopping around in a library. You burn the book. The book burns. It's not so easy to burn because it's actually made of vellum. So that's... but it does in the end burn. But the monkeys, they find this really interesting. They gather around, sitting in front of the fire, warming their little hands. But nothing happens to them. The book is gone.
Okay, so definitely good that we did not burn number 2.
One of them starts climbing you and is now sitting on your shoulder.
I think Aisling, even not really thinking about it, will like give scritches and will mull over, probably staring at the one book that she tied down that is lying on the table. Look what... I don't even want to say it because it...
What do you mean?
I'm tempted to say how could it get worse, but I know that is the worst thing to say, because then it definitely will get worse when we read that. There must
At that
be
moment,
something.
there's a lock. The lock is the key's turned in the lock. The door opens. In steps Samara, but she doesn't really walk in. She just basically takes one step inside. She's like, I've got the meat.
Do you by any chance have like a healer or someone in?
Yes, we've got a midwife.
Maybe they have herbs that calm down or make sleepy or something like that. Honestly, that thing doesn't look very hungry. It's just scared.
I could talk to the midwife. I'm pretty sure she's got some sleeping draught or other.
That would be lovely if you could. Thank you.
And she runs out again, locks the door, and runs away. You can kind of hear footsteps, and then they vanish.
Aisling will place the meat next to the door, farthest away from them. Just hoping that it's not hungry. If not, we will hear if it comes closer. Because the monkey shouldn't be too interested in it, I think.
No, they don't care.
Aisling will have another flip through to book 2, just to see any kind of, because she's not really reading it. She would look more for any kind of signs or symbols or anything like that.
Okay, then make a Wahrnehmungscheck.
That is a natural 20.
Oh, wow.
26.
Okay, you do see that somebody has made notes in the margin of some of the pages.
I would hold it or show it Siobhan. If I will probably have troubles reading it, but with her help. Maybe, depending on the language.
Okay, she rolled a 12, so that's a success. She looks at it and she says, yeah, somebody has made notes.
Questions, what for notes?
Oh.
I don't like O.
These are notes by the author. It says here that he was terribly unhappy that nobody believed his tale and he was gonna show the world. He's cursed the books.
The question is, who opened their books?
Well, I suppose maybe they just fell open. Maybe, I don't know. I doubt that Samara opened them.
Yeah, books don't just fall open.
Also, the question is, whoever gave her that crate, did they never open the books? Because it looks like it never happened before. Because one would have heard if this had happened.
Well, I hope there are more cursed books with other volumes. Aisling will go back to the book crate and she will look through. Is there any other book from that author?
You don't need to roll Wahrnehmung, there isn't.
Okay. I highly suspect the other books are just mingled in, because honestly, a cooking book doesn't fit you. I'm cursing you because you don't believe me that my cake is good. I highly doubt that.
Do you want me to see if I can ask Varna to try and break the curse?
Yes. Or if there's a... Does Varna have ways to dump his ass in front of us, the dear author? Sorry for language. I would like to make him a head shorter.
You mean the author?
Yes.
I mean, if he's dead, I can try and call him, but then you would be dealing with a ghost.
Well, someone had to open the books.
Do you want me to see if I can call him? If he's dead, then maybe he will answer.
Yeah, let's give it a try.
Okay, so let's see. Ooh. She sits down, closes her eyes, and she says, I'm calling on the spirit of Timothy Tooth to come to us from the beyond and to aid us in our need. And after a while, you see a mist coalesce. You've seen this before, at least twice. You've seen it twice. Once with your father, once with the Swamp Witch.
Yeah.
And a man appears in front of you. He is round about 40 years old, maybe. He's clean shaven. He's got long hair, like longish, but not ungroomed, not unkempt. And he looks around and he says, "What is this?"
Gesundheit.
And he looks at, "Who are you?"
Your worst nightmare, probably.
I mean, yes, you are not very attractive. So yes, as far as women go, you are pretty much a nightmare.
Charming. Just as your books.
But who's this? And he turns towards Siobhan.
That also doesn't look that pretty anymore because she's burned.
Yeah, that is true. although since you've left,
It healed quite a bit.
It has healed quite a bit. Yeah, but she's still more attractive than you.
Yeah,
are to him.
definitely more. But Aisling never really felt attractive. We need an answer how to turn back your curse.
My curse. Oh, has it worked?
Well, you failed completely in your mission. Your books were on a way to a library where everyone could have learned about your stories, and you destroyed everything with it. So no one will ever hear your stories again because we will burn the books. But it would be nice to bring the manticore back home, or the big cat thingy back home. Sorry, she doesn't know a name. Before we have to kill it.
It's here, and he turns around and he sees the manticore at the back and says, "All right, that's just the beginning."
Aisling will look at Siobhan. Maybe it's time to send him wherever we can send him.
I can dismiss him. She dismisses the ghost.
Yeah.
Well.
Not helpful, only knowing that he's a douchebag.
Do you want me to try and see if I can consecrate the books?
Yes, please. And let's hope that returns at least. If not, we need to see what we do with it. One? Oh no.
She concentrates and holds her hands over it.
Probably the monkeys are jumping in between, distracting her or something.
And the glow begins. And the monkeys do distract her. And the manticore starts growling because it gets distracted as well, because the monkeys are making a ruckus. And out of the book emerges a form. So now, I didn't prepare this because this is...
we did not plan on getting a one!
And at that moment, a huge
Did
head...
Siobhan open the book for that, or did she do that over the closed book?
No, what's happening is the book is slowly opening.
Could Aisling try with all her force to
Try.
prevent the book from opening? With strength, I guess.
This is an opposed roll.
Okay. I rolled a 45.
Over.
Again. No, 46 was the other. So 45.
And what is your strength?
98.
Okay.
So a success, mediocre
That's
success.
a hard success though. It's 50%.
Yeah.
Now you can basically try and push it closed, but you will have to give it one more try.
Okay. That is a 28.
You are so lucky. I rolled 100. You hear something that sounds like an eagle screeching, but you manage to hold the book shut. But now you really have to keep holding it. What do you do? Because you know whatever this is strong and it's pushing. At the moment you're safe, but you will have to hold on to it.
So I would have the feeling if we just tie a rope, the rope would snap.
Yeah.
She would stick her sword in the book.
Okay.
Because then at least it will be difficult to move the pages apart because you have a piece of metal stuck between it.
Okay.
So she
you don't
would...
need to make an attack roll because you will hit, but you need to make a strength roll because you really want to push it down.
Yeah. So the idea is to have the foot and all her weight on the book and then really...
Yeah.
Let's see. That's, again, a 45. Why ever my dice like a 45, it's a 45 again.
You hear a screech that is heart-rending and you see dark red blood streaming from between the pages.
Does it stop to open?
Yeah.
Okay. Because the main hope is from Aisling that we did not destroy everything from the book. How does Siobhan
Well, the manticore is still there.
Yeah, but the question is if we destroy the magic of the book.
Oh, sorry, you want her to look again?
Yeah, if she's able to.
No, it's still magical, but I will try again one more time.
Let me just stand on top of the book while you do that, just in case.
She tries and she collapses. I don't have enough strength anymore.
Well, let's get you seated up. Let's drink a little bit. And she will look at the table. And she will see if there's any kind of food left. Probably not.
No, the monkeys have it was just one pair.
Would a night's rest help, or do you need longer?
I will definitely need longer, and I will definitely need to try and meditate. Even just to get some of my strength back. It'll be weeks before I am back if I can't meditate. And successfully meditate. At that moment, the roar of the manticore becomes a lot louder, and then you hear the lock again, and Samara comes towards you. She says,
She sees a fun scene, Aisling standing on a book with a sword
that's bleeding, and
Did you get something?
yes, here. Shall we put it into the meat?
Yes.
So it's actually a flask, and she basically then takes the meat, and she's got a knife, so she basically cuts into the meat and then puts the flask into it so that it really infuses the meat with whatever is in the flask. And then she says, "Do you want to feed it? Because I certainly don't want to get anywhere near it."
I will. Aisling will very carefully see if she puts her feet down but leaves the sword where it is. Does the book stay closed, or does it try to open again?
It stays closed.
Okay. Then look out for that. And she will take the meat. And she will slowly walk in the direction of the big cat.
Yeah,
thingy.
you walk towards the big cat, and do you throw the food, or do you put it down and then walk away again, or?
She would come approaching. She would start talking again. Oh no, she would start humming again the song. Because if that is a cat, like she knows cats, because cats she would know, they are smart. It's not that they're, at least most of them. And she would just approach, and she would, we have at least something to eat for you. And she would just stand with the meat in the hand and would see if it tries to jump or if it's basically looking and sniffing.
It is wrinkling its nose. It's definitely sniffing.
So don't eat me, but at least while we find out how we get you back, have a snack at least in between. And I think Aisling would do a few steps like halfway, and the rest she would like throw it like in front of the cat, not at the cat, but in front of the cat. So a little bit more like sliding, if it would not really slide because meat.
But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do that. It's not a problem.
So
you know,
again, trying not to be like aggressively throwing things, but like, here you go, but I want to keep my hands.
You do keep your hands. The meat lands quite well and quite close, and it starts sniffing it.
Would stab slowly backwards again. And that's the only thing we have at the moment for you.
I mean, it's actually a really big, bloody piece of meat. So it's probably the thigh of some big animal, maybe a cow. So it's actually a big thing. You know.
Yeah.
And it smells very attractive to the manticore. So it starts sniffing it, and then there's a tongue, and then it starts eating it.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can see the rows of really sharp teeth as they tear apart the meat and tear pieces of meat from the flesh. And it eats.
Okay, Aisling would carefully back up to the back, but she would keep an eye just to see if there's a point where it's like it's tasting funny or not. I'm not sure, because usually herbs or things have kind of a taste. She wants to make sure that it still eats everything.
It keeps eating.
Okay.
And then it takes a while to finish, so it doesn't gobble it up. It actually chews the meat. It doesn't just bite chunks off and then just swallows them. It chews them and then swallows. And then after a while, it's done.
Before turning around, Aisling, I will also try to organize some water for you, because you're probably also thirsty.
It's ignoring you. It's more concentrating on the food, which is
fine.
probably also a good thing.
Yeah, Aisling will leave the cat. Well, we should try to keep it happy, so we probably need some water as well.
I will get that, and Samara is out of the library before you can say stop.
like a big... We'll see how we get that. At least a bucket would be.
Yeah.
We need... Aisling would look at Siobhan like she looks exhausted, I suspect.
Yeah. Very much. So she's very, very pale. You've actually never seen this happen before, because actually when I was rolling, it just said you don't have enough AP left to cast the spell. So I have to check. She's probably at 0. Yeah, she's only got 4 left, so that's, you know, she cannot even try and dispel evil.
I think Aisling would very carefully see if she pulls out the sword, if the book tries again to move, or if it's kind of motionless now.
You pull out the sword.
Yeah, but she would still keep a foot on it just to see.
The book seems to be dead. Whatever was in there is killed, obviously. By judging by the blood, it was huge. Also, you would notice because it was strong.
Yeah.
But the book doesn't move anymore.
Well, I think you definitely need rest. And I will keep an eye on those troublemakers, pointing to the monkeys. And that one.
She slumps down on the chair. I mean, she's already sitting down, but now she's basically slumping down like this. And she closes her eyes.
Lean against the fireplace. It's cozy and warm there. Before you fall off the chair.
She gets up again. She sits down in front of the fireplace, or next to it rather, and then she leans against the wall, and her head droops. She's really, really, really exhausted.
Aisling will probably still wrap something around the book now. She will keep the wrap around the second volume, but she will wrap the third one as well. Just plonk it on the table. And then I think she will wait for Samara to return.
Samara actually returns pretty soon with a bucket of water. And she takes it inside.
I would carefully take it.
And she sees Siobhan sitting down, and she says, is she all right? What's wrong with her?
She's just exhausted.
What did she do?
Try to cancel out a curse.
A curse?
The books are cursed. And she will point at the bloody book that has a hole on top.
How?
I have no idea. The author just made a lot of angry notes that nobody believes him, and he will show everyone, and this will come true.
Well, I mean, he did show everyone. I mean, at least the three of us.
Yeah, wow.
I certainly will never forget this thing.
Well, I can tell you he's a douchebag, and he shouldn't have ever been able to write that nonsense.
How do you know? He's been dead for a long time.
Well, we can confirm he's dead. If not, he would be dead by now, probably.
What are you talking about?
Never mind. The book is cursed. And that's why those... She points into both directions, showed up. And here, a third one tried to get out.
But, I mean, what are we going to do now? Is it now, like, just the books, or is now the whole library cursed? I mean, we could still burn it down.
It's just the books. And we
so
need
what do we do now? We could throw them into the ocean.
How do you want to throw that in the ocean?
Oh.
And the monkeys, honestly, we can keep them. It's not that they will destroy
She looks at the, and then she's like, actually, lying down like that and sleeping, it's almost cute. And she points towards the back of the library.
Has it slumped down and curled up?
Yes. It's lying down like a cat. It's basically done it when they basically just tip to the side, and then the 4 legs are just stretched out perpendicular to the body. And it's slightly snoring. Like someone else.
That we don't hear via the microphone.
No, she's being very subtle.
for sure didn't want to be here, because the main question is if it ever existed anywhere. It definitely does not belong in this world. But I can't do magic, and we need someone who can break the curse.
Now the book cannot be read anymore.
Well, part of it, maybe?
She opens it and you see that the blood is soaked through everything. There is no reading this anymore.
But
So
the
what do we
magic
do
is
now?
still there. I might have an idea, but I need to wait till she wakes up. Would you keep an eye on the book and her for a second?
Of course, when she wakes up, what do I do?
Just let her wake up.
What do I do if this one wakes up and she points towards the manticore?
Aisling would grab the bucket and would walk towards the manticore. That's her
Okay.
idea, just like carefully walking towards the manticore and then putting the bucket like in the middle, halfway, just carefully putting it down and then tiptoeing back.
The manticore doesn't move.
Okay.
It's still breathing, but it doesn't move.
Aisling is at the moment probably she would stand for a short while, look at the manticore and try to figure out if there is any kind of way we could bind that thing up, that it's not moving anymore. At the same time, it hurts her heart to do that because that thing is not evil. It's just desperate, like everyone in this room. Because it's big. You can't just use rope, that will not work. And probably, honestly, if we touch it, it will probably wake up anyhow.
You have a pretty good idea that it could be bound, because I rolled on your Seilkunst with a 27. But you figure chaining it might be better.
Yeah, at the same time, it will make it hell of aggressive. It will not like to be chained.
Yeah, but the question is also, once you've chained it, if you manage to do so, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah, that's a question. Throw it into the ocean. No, we're not that cruel.
Yeah, because you know that drowning is worse than just being stabbed. If you
Yeah.
stab it through the heart, it's
As I
dead,
said-
but it dies quickly. But if you basically throw it into the ocean, it would drown, and you know that drowning is terrible.
And honestly, Aisling doesn't have any resentment against that cat, because that cat is not here on free will. That cat is not here to murder everyone. It's just as desperate as everyone here. Because it knows it does not belong here. Samara, maybe can you organize more of that
Tonic?
stuff we put in the meat?
Sure.
And some meat more when it wakes
Yeah.
up. And I will keep eye on this, and she will like tie up the book again. And then she will plonk herself on the chair. Maybe like 1 or 2 pairs for those ones. Pointing to the monkeys.
I will get that, yes.
Thank you.
So she goes away again.
Hmm.
The cat keeps snoring.
Yeah.
The monkeys have gone to sleep again. Siobhan is knocked out cold. So you're the only soul that is still awake and aware of her surroundings.
Aisling will mull ideas between, does it make sense to chain it up, but it does not really deserve that. Maybe it's nicer to keep it calm, like we try at the moment. And then she will wait for Siobhan to wake up again.
Mm-hmm. Let's see how she's doing.
Because Aisling has an idea, but she wants to discuss with Siobhan. Because Siobhan would need to go.
Okay, she rolled an 8 over 21 on her constitution. She does wake up. But she is still very, very pale.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my head. Remind me to never do that again.
Well, I have maybe an idea who can help, but you would need to go to get them.
Who?
The fairies. They have magic. And I highly doubt they would like to have something like that.
So
or maybe they would love to have something
what do you
like
propose?
that.
That we ask them to kill it?
Well, first option would be if they have ways to stop a curse. Second, if they have ways to handle a thing like that, maybe in their world with their magic. Because they have magic, definitely.
So you want me to go back and get them?
Yeah, but first take a night's sleep, please. I don't want you on a horse like this.
And what? I mean, this is gonna take me 4 days to get there. Then, however long it takes me to find that circle, hopefully soon, and then talk to the queen and see if she will help us, and then come back. What are you gonna do in the meantime?
Trying.
You're not staying in this room with that thing.
I will stay in that room with that thing, although I would probably ask if
Think
they would
again,
like to
darling.
Well, the other option is that we kill that poor thing.
How about you just go outside and lock the door?
It will break out over time. What would you do if you're that big and strong and locked in a room? You would
I'm not
try to
happy.
get outside. It's not happy either. I'm not sure if they can keep it inside here.
And what if it wakes up? And what if it does try to break out? What are you going to do then?
Hold on to its tail.
And get killed in the process?
Maybe. I have no idea what to do.
She tries to get up, but can't.
Aisling will not help her. You sit down.
I'm not the one who is proposing to commit protracted suicide in a library.
The only options I see is that we try to keep it here, keep it at least calm.
But then why do you need to be here?
Do
Lock
you
it inside.
see her? Who's feeding? We can't lock up here for days not giving him anything to eat.
When I get back, and if there's even just a scratch on you, I'll have words with you.
You can for sure.
You are the most idiotic, stubborn person I have ever called family.
Do you have another plan? Leave it
actually,
here hungry?
I haven't had time to think about it. I cannot even get up. Forgive me for not having a plan, but at least I'm not as stupid as you thinking it's a good idea to sacrifice yourself possibly to this thing because you're locking yourself up in a hardly haunted library with it.
I don't plan to be eaten. I'm not a snack. What do you
No,
think?
you're more than that, but it would keep it happy for several days.
What do you think about you get some sleep in a bed and we meet up in the morning and decide? Maybe you get another idea, maybe I get another idea. Although honestly I stared at everything for a long time, I can't get any idea in my head elsewise.
She tries to get up again,
Aisling would help her this time. In case she lets Aisling help.
Yeah, no, she lets grudgingly so.
So she would like give the hand to pull her up.
You pull her up, then she stands before you. And she looks at you and she says, yes, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to get
You
sleep.
need rest, and I promise I will not be eaten. I asked Samara to collect a little bit more.
If I
meat.
come back tomorrow and you're dead, I will kill that thing. I don't care.
Yeah, and then you can summon me and slap me in the face. That's fine.
I will.
Please take care.
Says
Don't-
she.
Collapse on the street on the way back.
I think even if I did, I would be much safer out there, collapsed in the street, because someone would find me and pick me up than you in here.
That's right.
I'm just saying, Missy. I'm not. I want to make this clear. I'm not happy with your decision.
Again, if there's another way, I will be happy to follow that idea. But the idea leaving it here, having it break out and go bonkers through town or through the land, because it can fly.
I'll see you in the morning.
Sleep tight.
Don't sleep because you don't know if it's going to wake up and eat you in your sleep.
I will try not to, and honestly, I'm not sure if it would.
She walks out, but you can tell that she's very unhappy with the
Yeah.
situation.
But that's... At the moment, Aisling is more worried that she will collapse and not gain her strength. So she's hoping
Make a
that...
Wahrnehmungsroll, please.
No, that's a 7.
She opens the door, she steps outside, she looks back one more time over her shoulder and basically waves at you very lightly.
Aisling will wave, see you in the morning.
See you in the morning. And then she closes the door behind her and walks away. 10 minutes later or so, Samara comes back with another huge chunk of meat and another of these flasks. And same thing, infuses it and says, where's your friend? Where's Siobhan?
I send her back. She needs sleep and rest, and not on the floor, but in a bed.
And she listened to you? I'm amazed.
Yeah, me too. Well, she's angry, but I promised I will not be eaten by that thing. I will keep watch overnight. Except you maybe know someone in this land that can do magic? That might be a help.
No.
Okay.
I mean, yes, we have hags, but I wouldn't know any of them personally. I mean, yes, there is magic in this land, but I don't, I mean...
But you know a few people here. Maybe you have a chance to listen around if anyone knows anyone that can handle magic.
I know, I've heard a rumor that there is a swamp witch somewhere to the southwest of here, southeast of here.
Yeah, she's not alive anymore, sadly.
But they're immortal, I thought.
Well, if you chop the head off, nothing is immortal.
Tell me it wasn't you.
No, she was nice. It's a long story.
Well, how about I get you some food and drink as well? What would you like?
Just some water and some bread. Maybe. I think
All
that's
right.
enough. And maybe if you could figure out if there's a way where we can store those troublemakers that are at the moment snoring, but will make trouble again. Or someone
I could take them home.
Well, then maybe
We could see if they would crawl it into the crate, and I can carry them. They are not heavy.
yeah, that's true. You can put them on a lead if you want to. Maybe. I'm not sure
I'm
how
not
happy
sure.
they would be about that.
Well, they can have my house. I'll just
I
close
hope-
the window so that they don't get out. And it seems like they like fruit. I think I can handle this. I mean, it's only going to be for a couple of days, because then you're going to break this curse and they'll go away, right?
Hopefully.
All right. So
Okay.
she goes to the first one and picks it up, and
I would empty the crate. I would put the books out.
and before she can crate it actually wakes up, and then it just does this, like when children reach up to be picked up, and gives her a hug around the neck, and she says,
Well,
okay, and it climbs on her shoulder. She says, well, maybe we don't need to crate this one. And then she tries the next one. The next one wakes up, and basically then also it clings to her arm, like so, with all four limbs, and basically its tail around it, and is really enjoying it. It's hanging with the head down. Okay, this one doesn't need crating either. Let's try the last one. And the last one has already woken up because the other ones have started chattering, and it's surveying the situation as like, ooh, are you my ride? And it runs towards her and jumps on her other shoulder. She's like, if you could get the door for me?
Yeah, no problem.
And she walks out with these three monkeys
I will open the door. I will...
And one is actually now standing on her, on its hind legs, on her shoulder, and is holding onto her head, and is basically kind of like doing almost like a lookout thing. and she's like,
Good luck.
I've got a monkey on my head. Hopefully nobody will notice.
Well, probably they will, but they're cute.
Yes. And she walks out. She says, I'll be back with the food once I've got these guys sorted.
I'm not hungry, so you don't have to rush. And Aisling will carefully close the door again and will plonk herself on the chair again and stare at the bloody book.
Yeah, the book is bloody in many ways.
And she will... honestly, it might be that she will probably skip through the second book, looking at pictures and trying to make sense of the words that she can read, if she can learn anything.
You mean
about
part 3,
thing.
which was definitely magical, in which you had tied
No, part 2, where
that's the one that is so
thing.
bloody that you can't read anything.
No, part 3 was the magical one.
No, that was the one that
open.
you had. She tried to. Oh yes, you're right. She tried to dispel the one that she knew was magical.
One.
Yeah. Okay, so I will tell you what actually happened. All of them are magical, as you may have guessed, but she failed her roll twice. So for her, it's just like, it's not magical.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can, and
she will carefully open it and see what happens. She will try to find the page where the picture of that thing is, and try to see if she can read any details, like learning about it. If there is,
it's written in Altoquin. Your Altoquin isn't good enough.
Then she will close the book again.
And you hear at the back of your voice, at the back of your head, the voice of the mother of Mother Breda. It's important to study your lesson plans, Aisling.
Well, Aisling never intended to move to a place that only speaks that old rusty language.
And then you hear a young Siobhan's voice saying, "One day you will notice that the feather is mightier than the sword."
Well, this scenario shows the feather is a problem. The sword would be a problem solver.
Ooh, that is a very interesting key phrase.
At least in Aisling's mind, but she really can't bring over her, because honestly, she could step over to the cat and kill it.
Yes, you could.
But she killing something in its sleep, that sounds horribly wrong. And well, it's not that the cat came here to delete the town or anything. It just was brought here against its will, high possibly. So she will push that option back. It's basically a last resort, yes, but honestly, she would probably rather face it in fight before killing it in its sleep. And I know as a player that's crazy, but Aisling would. Because, killing it in its sleep is...
No, I mean, fair enough. This is, this is how this works. You make a decision.
Yeah.
after a while, it's easily an hour or so. Samara comes back. She comes back with a hamper, and it's got a little blanket over it, so it's kind of like a basket, and it's basically covered.
Yeah.
And then she uncovers it, and then there is bread, and there is butter, and there's cheese, and there is cold cut, and then she's got some soup in a bowl, like with a little bit of a lid on it, and then she says, "And now I'm gonna get you some water," and she goes out again, and then she comes back with like 10 minutes later with a pitcher, of water and a wooden cup.
Thank you.
And it's a whole loaf of bread and like a lot of cheese. And
much more than Aisling would have ever wanted to. She was just counting on a little bit of bread and some water.
Yeah,
and
well,
she would be fine.
I believe you weren't counting on Samara being Samara.
No.
And she says, "All right, so shall I keep you company?"
If you feel comfortable around here.
Well, you said it was sleeping.
It is sleeping.
At that moment, you kind of hear a noise, and it's like it's quite loud. And she looks, and her eyes get bigger, but then she kind of relaxes. Do you turn around?
Yes.
It's basically switched position.
Yeah, it turned around and probably rattled the bookcase or something, because we will hear when it wakes up. But you can read this, and Aisling would open the book. Probably she's getting a heart attack. But are there details on that thing in that book? I can't read.
Let me see.
Written there.
So she looks at the book. It's a forest dweller.
Okay.
Solitary. They usually only lay one egg in a lifetime and raise that one. There aren't that many. Oh, highly intelligent. Can fly. Well, she looks over. That was kind of obvious.
Yeah.
Poisonous. Oh.
Okay, so the stinger definitely a no-touch thingy. Because I suspect it's the stinger, not
likes to eat LLAMAS. Likes to eat llamas. What's llamas?
I have no idea.
Whatever llamas is, it eats theirs.
Well, it must be similar to the meat that we gave it. Maybe it's related to what I've seen looked rather like, I don't know, cow or horse or something like that, right? Size-wise.
The meat you see.
The meat.
Yeah. Well,
maybe it's kind of a cow or horse or something like that.
Maybe I've never heard that word.
Or big deer.
Perhaps. Oh, hunts. Cannot swim. Oh, sorry. Cannot swim well.
Well, I suspect the wings are in the way. So, behaving like a big cat generally.
Like a big cat with a stinger and wings, yeah. Kind of sums it up.
You've read a lot of books, haven't you?
Yes.
What are stories about curses and how curses can be broken?
There are always stories about, like the big evil wizard and then, the hero coming in, but... I mean, we also have stories about talking animals. I mean, go figure. I certainly have never seen an animal talk. Heard an animal talk.
Aisling with a smirk.
Not only have you heard animals talk, you've got an egg that's been talking to you non-stop.
Well, in other worlds, there are animals that can talk, I can tell you that.
What now?
Aisling would go to the page where she's seen the comments of the author.
Yeah.
Because that's also in the same book.
Mm-hmm.
Did we read it correctly that he was just very angry and wanted to show everyone that these things are real?
She looks at the comments. Ooh, that's one disgruntled customer. Yeah.
Well, he's not
He
a
apparently-
customer, it's his own books.
That's just a saying. Apparently, he wrote the books, and then he tried to find a publisher, but was turned down every single time because this was nonsense and nobody was going to read this. And he says, I am going to show them. I have found a way. That's all there is.
He found a way. May I just curiously ask, from whom did you get the books?
Oh, it was a crate. It was a donation by Talitha, the magistrate, actually collected them. You know, she said, "Oh, you're opening this library, and I'm just gonna ask around."
We should find out.
I mean, she
gave the
got
book.
some. I believe she got some even from the people in the borderlands. I mean, some people call them barbarians, but I beg to differ. There is a lot of knowledge there, and some of them may have had. I mean, some of them apparently had some books. Maybe they found them in the ruins. Who knows?
Just thinking, if it shows that they are real and that his books are known, would that break the curse? I highly doubt it. He was very angry.
I mean, I'm not an expert on curses, but maybe. At that moment, it seems like the beast is waking.
Well, we'll have to think about it. And Aisling will close the book and tie it up again. Maybe it's time for you to get home as well.
Are you sure you want to stay alone?
Well, you don't want to have the troublemakers alone in your house for too long.
That's true.
And you can't do much. Maybe just join us in the morning.
Yeah,
Maybe
we'll
we
be
can
there.
find a way together.
And she leaves, but she says, I'm gonna leave you the key. Lock it from the inside. She puts the key on the table and then she walks out. Closes the door.
Aisling will follow her and lock right behind her.
The manticore is now lying down with its head up, like cats do, and it's beginning to groom itself.
Aisling will have an eye on it. She will probably start a fire again, just that there is some fire and some coziness, and she will start eating the soup. But in between, looking over to the cat.
Yeah, the cat is being very cat-like, so now it's time for cleanliness. And they can take hours.
Let's hope it takes hours. Aisling isn't in a rush. She just wants to get through the night, basically, and trying to not get killed, because
After
Siobhan
about
will
an
be
hour or so.
very angry.
Yeah. And she will summon that ghost of yours and she will slap it into next Sunday.
Yeah.
After a while, it basically then does the big stretch, as we call it. And then it just swishes its tail, as cats do when they're kind of like annoyed a little. Cats get easily annoyed at all kinds of things. What do you do?
Sit and watch.
It knows that you're there.
Aisling is not trying to hide. She will probably munch on a little bit more of the food that she has and drinking a little.
You hear her sniffing. Very loudly.
Mm-hmm. So are you hungry again? You just ate. Well, it's a little bit past, but well.
Okay, now you can get into long arguments with cats about when they were last fed. Even if they just were fed 5 minutes previously, they will tell you it's been 48 hours at least, if ever.
Yeah. She would look over to and I have a bit more if you want. And she would basically use her sword. She would have cleaned it by now, by the way, because she had enough rest time in between to clean her sword back up. She cut a chunk of the meat off, and she would walk over to the cat.
The cat sits down on its haunches and watches you eagerly.
I'm sorry, we're not quicker finding a way to bring you back, but you will soon be in the woods again. And she will walk probably a few steps closer than the last time, but then she will like plonk the piece of meat the last way. And then she will, I think this time she will be just turning around and walk away. Ears open, just to have an idea, but kind of showing.
The chunk lands on the floor, and the cat.
And the bucket of water should be still standing
the
close
cat
by
puts
as
out
well.
its paw, moves the food around a little as they do, and then starts eating.
Okay, I know it's boring like this. You want to hunt? We will find a way. Not me, but we will find a way. Although Aisling is like, can we find a way to... but she will return. She will eat a little bit more of her food.
Can we find a way what? Do you want to share? Or is it a secret?
It's I have the idea of, you know, like you have a piece of wood or a string at the end where you can play with a cat. Just put meat on there and keep it busy that it can kind of hunt. I'm just worried about that it will then think Aisling is hunting goal as well. But that's at least Aisling is like, how can we make finding food fun to keep it busy?
Okay. Well, you have a couple of ideas. You could, for example, cut the meat up into smaller chunks and hide them.
Yeah.
And it would then start sniffing them out. That's one way of doing it. It works with cats as well. Not as well as with dogs, but you can try. Yeah. And then after a while, you do notice that you're getting tired, but your roommate, as it were, is getting tired as well again. So the tonic is working again. So its eyelids are drooping. Of course, now it's got less in its body because the food was smaller, and but it does go to sleep again. So what do you do?
Well, while it sleeps, that would be the point where I would be hiding the other food. So I would cut it up and I would hide it in different corners. Maybe under a basket, upside down, things like that.
Yeah, you still have the crate.
And would hide it.
And the hamper that your food came in.
Yeah.
So yes, you could use those. Yeah. Okay, good. Do you want to try and go to sleep at all?
No. She will try to
Constitution
stay
save.
awake. That barely. I rolled this 86 and I have 87 in Constitution.
That's enough. You stay awake, but you are tired.
I'm struggling.
So you get minus 20% to everything, or minus 4 to because you are tired and it has been stressful. Let's face it. I mean, yes, you are a seasoned warrior, but you are in the vicinity of something that can and will eat you alive, as far as you are concerned.
Yeah.
The next morning,
Mm-hmm.
there is a knock on the door.
I will walk to the door, lock it, carefully open, and peek who's there.
It's Siobhan.
How does she
Well,
look?
terrible. She's still very pale. She says, well, at least you're still alive.
And you still look horrible.
Yes. It didn't
Did
work.
get any sleep?
I did, but I'm still feeling empty. She failed a meditation roll.
Darling!
I mean, she's critted on a 1 twice
I
this
know.
evening. So yeah. So, do you still want me to go to the elves, to the fairies?
I don't know what else to do. The other option is, I don't know. Would the curse dissolve if we show it around and tell that he... But I don't think I want to feed into his madness.
I don't know. At that moment,
Mm-hmm.
You hear voices.
Mm-hmm.
And you see 3 people walking over the marketplace, across it. And they look a lot different than everybody else here. They wear leather clothes,
Mm-hmm.
and green vests made of dyed wool. And they have a lot of, I mean, they have a certain ruggedness about them, like somebody who lives outdoors a lot.
Okay. Well, maybe the book came from them, and Aisling would point over. Samara said some of the books came from the Borderlands.
Should we talk to them?
Yeah, let's go outside and lock the door behind us. Aisling will have a last look at Kitty, but even if it's awake, I hope it's not like aggressively trying to get out.
You can see that it's very interested in that crate that you overturned,
Ah, then
and it's
busy.
pushing it around.
It's busy. That's good.
So
So we
you-
step outside.
Yeah.
Aisling would lock the door behind her and put the key deep inside her clothes that no one can easily get to it. And then we would just wait outside.
Do you want to approach them because they're checking out one of the market stalls?
Yeah. Yeah, let's slowly walk over.
Mm-hmm.
And Aisling would greet them at least a little bit that she can. Something like good day or good morning, she's able to say.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see if they're friendly and greet back or if they're grumpy.
They greet you back. It's 2 men and a woman. And they're trying, or they're not trying to, but they're buying fruit.
Excuse me, not to be offensive, but you're also not from around here, are you? Because Aisling for sure doesn't look like she's from around here.
Well, we are from the Borderlands. Why do you ask?
We don't know much about the Borderlands, since we are not from around here. Do you by any chance have magic wielders in your rows of people?
Roll Menschenkenntnis.
And if they try rolling Menschenkenntnis, Aisling is just honest. And I rolled a natural 20.
You would say they do, but they say no.
Okay. It's just we have the curse at our hand, and I can't really do magic. She can't do magic anymore.
They look at Siobhan with interest.
She's a healer, but she's, well, out of energy, if you want to say it like that. Just,
Curses.
yeah, and it might be from one of the books that came from your lands.
They look at each other and then one of them says, yes, we remember that Tjarden said when he got back the last time that the magistrate was collecting books for the library, and we
Someone handed out magical books. Cursed books.
What kind of a curse are you talking about?
Things coming alive from the books that should not be here.
Things coming alive from the books? What kind of books were they?
Adventure stories and animal descriptions. I'm not sure if it came from your land, to be honest, but it might be an option. Might also be that someone stupid here didn't know they have magical books that they got from their great-great-grand-uncle.
So you're saying that there is an animal here that doesn't belong and it stepped out of a book?
More than one.
More than one. And they look around like, and where are they?
We're not running through town. We are not insane.
Honestly, this is very hard to believe.
Aisling would have a look around if Samara is maybe around, because we wanted to meet up in the morning. At least Aisling asked her.
Yeah. Yeah, she is.
So if I see her, I would call out for her.
She comes towards you.
Just to be... Would you mind showing these fine people your house guests? Because I for sure don't want to show them the other house guest. Maybe they have a way to help.
The three of them look at each other uneasily.
It's not dangerous.
The woman
we will join.
shrugs and she says,
It's
all right,
busy.
but let me just conduct my business first. And she basically buys
Yeah.
fruit and then she gets the bag and she hands over some money and then she follows.
On the way to the house, Aisling Wood was... Did they at least behave?
They are adorable,
Good.
but they eat a lot. They went through 8 pairs between them.
That's more than what they weigh to... Interesting. Well, the other one slept most night. And at
Oh,
moment it's busy
the
playing.
sleeping part we have to work on a little.
Okay, then that house guest, she will point back into the direction of the library. Definitely did not have problems with sleeping.
Well, you did drug him too.
Well,
She didn't
that's
give
true.
drugs to the little ones.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
you go to Samara's house, you arrive there. She says, all right, so they are... I'm not sure if you will see them because they like climbing around, but we'll see. She unlocks the door. She lets you guys... She opens the door, steps inside, lets you guys in. But they are monkeys. They are nosy. So
Yeah, they're nosy and they will smell food that she bought.
and basically they appear, and the 3 Borderlanders look at these beings and they're like, oh,
I would like to show you a book they came out of. We tried to burn it. It did not help. They're still here.
why would you think that burning the book would make them go away?
I have never dealt with a curse like that.
Yeah, me
was
neither, but
a random try.
I see. So you want these to go away, why don't you just kill them?
What have they done to us? Nothing.
Oh, alright, so you want them gone, but you are not willing to do anything for it.
Well, we want them go back where they came from.
Honestly, I don't know how that would be done. But
Then never mind.
and then one of the men basically says, "Don't you think you should at least tell them?" And the woman looks at him and tell them what exactly?
You don't have
And
to
he
tell
says
us.
that you muncher an aquilje. And she looks at him very angrily and she says, "No one is supposed to know."
Whatever you just said, we didn't understand. Anyhow, Aisling would look at them. Could you just do us a favor when you return back home? You talk to whoever maybe have magical. If they know ways to break a curse. If not, then never mind. Thank you for
I don't see
taking
the problem.
time.
They seem to be quite peaceful.
Yeah, but we have more. And not
What
everything
else
is
do you
peaceful.
have?
You don't want to know. Believe me.
Well, maybe I do.
Well, I'm afraid that you just blankly will have the idea to kill it, because that seems to be an easy solution for you. Aisling did for sure not like the idea that they want to kill the monkeys.
Yeah, I noticed.
They even more will want to kill that thing. Aisling kind of likes it. That's not good. She's already like, can I make it my pet? Oh, that's probably rather me than Aisling, but... Because Aisling would know you don't
actually
turn a wolf
feel
or bear.
compelled to show that woman this other thing, this other house guest.
And I've no way to work against that.
No, because I did check you'd failed your Resistenzgeist.
Well, then I don't have a choice as a player. Then Aisling will walk towards the library.
She follows you. Do you unlock the door?
It's a question how deep goes the...
Well, you
I
can
want
try
to show
again.
it to her. Aisling doesn't know that woman, so she's definitely, generally careful.
Okay, so you feel you feel no longer compelled.
Okay. Aisling would look at the woman. The question is, did just a woman or
Yeah.
did all three of them? I'm not sure I can trust you.
Why would you? But I can promise you I will not kill it.
Well, it will kill you first.
Are
And
you
Aisling-
willing to take that risk? I am.
Well, I trust that thing probably more than I trust you at the moment, but let's see. Aisling will unlock the door. And she will first peek inside to see where Kitty Cat is running around.
It's obviously managed to get at the food underneath the box, but only
Yeah.
the crate.
Okay.
And it's sitting there, basically. It's lying on its side, basically, but the head up.
Aisling
The
would just be like, don't be scared, I'm just back. And Aisling would step inside and would make space for... Oh, before she would step inside, she would be maybe first... I'm Aisling. Not sure who you are.
My name is Maria.
And just as heads up, please don't freak out when you step inside.
I will
And
try to
Aisling
contain
would
myself.
Make some space and close the door behind her.
You notice that this is something she has never seen before, because she does do a double take and take a step back. But she is composed. Then she turns to you and she says, "Promise me that you will not freak out now. I
Honestly?
promise you I will not hurt it."
Okay.
And in front of your eyes she changes into a manticore and walks towards it.
I need to definitely roll something. Aisling has seen a lot.
Yeah, but that's a whole nother level, isn't it?
It's I think it wouldn't shock her if she would have changed into a normal cat or something else, but I think just the sheer presence probably is. It would be Willenskraft, wouldn't it? Probably. Oh, she's fine. She rolled a 30. That's okay-ish. She would probably make a little bit of a jump backwards. And the other cat, if it even was attempting, would definitely feel that Aisling would have like a fear, just initial reaction. But then she composes herself and she would look. What is happening?
The
Hand on the
manticore
sword.
named Maria walks towards the other one and sits down in front of it. Your house guest is no longer lying down, but is standing, and then comes closer and sniffs. And then it also sits down, and they just look at each other. And it takes a while. Several minutes. 5, 10, 15.
Good that Aisling is a patient.
Yes. Yes.
Siobhan
Then,
would go crazy.
yes, she would. Then, Maria, the manticore, gets up again, turns around, changes back into her human form and walks towards you. And she says, "You can never tell anyone what you just saw."
I promise not to. And I've seen a lot of crazy things, so
When night
one
falls,
thing-
we will take her with us. She can live in the woods. She's not dangerous. She's just afraid.
Yeah, well, I would be just being plonked inside of a building like this.
She comes from a land that is full of forests.
Yeah, we've read that. We've also read that they are rare species. There are not many.
No, that's true.
And if they find a mate, they only have one child or one egg. That's it. Okay. Then I will keep it fed, not drugged, as we did, sadly, just to calm it down. And wait until you return.
Yes,
Thank you.
it has to be in the dead of night. You will need a wagon, because if we walk her through the
No,
gates,
We will get something organized.
I will get horses.
We will organize a wagon.
Mhm.
Or we
Her name
Aisling
is
would
Sarissa,
look at
by the way.
Aisling. Oh, good to know. We have horses, basically.
And you also have a wagon. That's the one where you were going to put the, you accepted the task of bringing the fruit.
Yeah. So Aisling would basically. Well, we had the task to bring something to you guys anyhow, and it has a wagon. The problem is there's food in it.
Well, now that we're here, we could carry the food. Easily
Then
done.
we will organize that we get the wagon.
All right.
Then we meet
After nightfall, then.
here after nightfall again. And Aisling would step outside with her and lock the door. And before locking, she would basically turn around, be like, I will be back, no worries. And she would lock the door. And then she would walk over to Samara's house again, because I suspect Siobhan is still there. And the
Yeah, and
others
so are the
probably as
two
well.
men and the monkeys. Each man is now carrying a monkey and playing with them.
Dangerous animals. High power of charming people.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm not sure if Clover would like the fact that even Siobhan is being endeared with them. And then Maria says, we need to talk. And then the two basically just follow her, and she says, and I'll see you at nightfall.
See you later. And
Siobhan looks at
Aisling
you.
well, we need to talk as well. And she will look at Siobhan and Samara.
All right. Can I maybe sit down? Because Siobhan is not looking
Yeah,
good.
well, I'm quite sure Samara will give her like a chair or something.
Samara is basically putting out tea, toast, cookies. Actually, I got the recipe for these biscuits from one of the books in the. Oh,
No, they will be
I
fine.
just hope
Don't
that
worry.
they're not cursed. She
They're not
eats one
cursed.
just to be sure.
Yeah.
Not bad for my first try. Maybe a little bit on the dry side, but have some.
So, I will organize.
What happened?
We've found a way to solve the problem in a peaceful way, which is an honest answer.
Siobhan just pulls up her eyebrows, but doesn't say anything.
I will organize the wagon that we anyhow wanted to transport.
To do what?
To transport. Tomorrow morning the library will be yours again, and we need to destroy that book.
But what are we going to do with the house guest?
It will be gone tomorrow morning.
Where to? Siobhan is getting angry.
With us to the borderlands.
Are you crazy?
We're not alone. The others will join us.
What about... Oh my god, this might kill everybody. We cannot let it out.
It will not kill everybody.
How do you know?
I've seen. They can handle animals well.
Samara? I think Aisling and I need to step outside because I have to have a word with her. Don't take this personally.
But question to you, Samara, do you want to keep your house guests, or should we take them as well? Your decision.
I thought they could move into the library. If I just keep them fed and watered, they will be fine. And I think that, it's big and it's a high building, so they like climbing. But as you can see, the ceiling isn't very high, so it's kind of disappointing for them.
Well, I think the library is a nice place for them. You could put up some crates with blankets where they can sleep if they want.
Yeah, good idea.
Awesome. Then, as I said, sadly today the library is still closed, but tomorrow you have it back.
Oh, that's fine.
And you will have 3 books less, because we will destroy all of them just to be
quite
sure.
honest, I'm not quite sure if anybody would have wanted to read them, because to tell you the truth, the writing style was quite boring.
Also, honestly, if tomorrow it would be probably good if you do a search through all the books just to make sure you have nothing else from that author.
I will.
Because his temper we don't want to have around.
I understand, I will.
Thank you.
Siobhan is getting really restless now.
Aisling doesn't care.
Yeah, I know. You like tormenting her. You are
Yeah.
evil. So you
Yeah, we step outside. I will tell Samara that I will, if it's okay, I will just close the door and leave the keys on the desk in the library.
Mm-hmm.
And I will leave a note up front that she can see it's safe again to step inside.
All right, fine. So Siobhan is getting really... So can we now please go?
After you, darling. And
She steps
we step
outside.
outside. And Aisling walks in the direction of the
In.
No, not the inn. We need to
The
organize. No, the cart. We need to get the
Okay,
cart.
so you go to the... You are so evil. So you go to the town hall to meet with Talitha, the magistrate, to organize everything. You arrive. She remembers who you are. And she said, it's easy to do. Yes, the cart. Let me show you. And she takes you around the back, and there's the cart. I mean, it is big enough.
Yeah.
But of course, there are some crates on it, but you would have to really kind of like remove them to place the manticore on it. But you can.
Okay.
And it's also one of those that has kind of like a tarpaulin over it. So
that's good. That's good. Ashley would just have a peek, and she would be okay. So we will grab our horses, and then we will be back in a little bit. Thank you.
All right. If you need any help, you can come. But I'm pretty sure you can do this on your own. But if there's anything,
Thank you very much.
And Siobhan is like, we really needed to do this now. You couldn't have spoken to me first. This was more important.
Yes.
Sometimes I really don't know why I don't kill you.
Because you love me. And
That is
Aisling
true,
will
but-
have a smile and will walk towards the inn now.
So, tell me.
They can talk with animals.
You really believe that?
I've seen
You
it.
are so gullible.
I've seen it.
I speak to Percy. That's nothing special.
No, not like that. They can turn into the same animal and communicate with it. I've seen 2 manticores. Or two cats in there.
You're a
2
liar.
of them.
But a really good one.
I'm not lying. Thank you for thinking that I'm making this up.
Sorry. But you do know what this sounds like.
We've seen crazier things. We talk to eggs. Excuse me?
It was more like the egg wouldn't stop talking to you.
And I talk back, but you talk to it as well.
Well, it's Victor. What do you
Yes.
expect? He's relentless. If we had ignored him, it would have gotten even worse.
Why shouldn't there be people out there with powers that make them change into something? That's probably why they're living out in the woods. The cat is just scared. It usually lives in a forest, not in a building of books. In the night we will put it on the cart and we will all together go back to the borderlands. They will give it a home there. We will do our job and get the money.
All right.
Then let's get Percy and Storm. They will not like what we will do to them.
But it's not until nightfall. It's now 11 o'clock. Do you really want to hitch them to the cart now?
I at
You
least
have-
would love to move it, maybe. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Also, did you sleep at all?
I'm not insane. I'm not sleeping next to a thing that could eat me alive.
So, I think since we're going to travel through the night, you should get some sleep.
The problem is, I think we need to return to the library. We can't leave it all rest of the day without...
Yes, but you can take a couple of hours of sleep. I will wake you, all right?
Aisling is definitely hesitating. An hour nap. That's enough.
All right, an hour's nap. I will wake you in 60 minutes. After you've gone to sleep.
Okay. We will go upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
I hope Clover's still there, behaving.
Well, Clover is being Clover. He's lying in the middle of the bed like this.
Mine.
But when you walk in, he's like, he lifts his head, sees you, scrambles onto his feet, and then walks towards you and flies towards you, and he's very happy.
I will catch it. And she will plonk herself on the now freed bed and just lay down, put Clover probably on her chest or stomach, and would just try to get a little bit of sleep.
Mm-hmm. Siobhan starts humming.
Because Aisling is tired, for sure.
This puts you to sleep much more easily. Mm-hmm. And so you fall asleep.
And I'm sure I will sleep longer than an hour, because I highly doubt she will wake her in an hour.
Actually, no.
She does.
After an hour, she wakes you very gently. And she says, it's been an hour exactly. Do you still want to sleep a little more? Or do you want to get up?
Let's get up and see how... And I did talk over you when you gave the name of the manticore.
Sarissa.
Sarissa. Let me write that down. Let's have a look if Sarissa is fine or if she needs anything. I can sleep tomorrow. Or the day after, or the day after.
Or you could also just sleep a little bit in the library. If Sarissa is fine,
oh, that's
you
true
can just take a nap there. I will be there too.
Then let's go. And looking at Clover, I'm sorry to say you have to stay until we pack up. Or do we just grab our stuff already and just bind the horses at the library? They would be happy to get out of the stable.
Well, I mean, we can take the horses. We don't have to pack our stuff. We can just leave it here until we come back, if you like. But I think we need to give Clover an outing, because he's been cooped up here for a couple of days now.
Then let's grab what we need to do the short travel back and forth. We can tell the innkeep.
Unless, of course, we wanted to go exploring, didn't we?
Yeah.
Then take our stuff.
And then we can return. We can tell them we will be back, but it will take a few days. Mm-hmm. Because I think the horses will be happy to have a little bit of a run around as well.
So you start packing.
Yeah.
You take Clover.
Yeah. Pocket. Come on.
And then you go downstairs. You get your horses.
Yeah, we would, as I said, would tell the innkeep that we will leave for a little bit of travel.
I cannot promise that it will be exactly the same
That's
room,
fine.
but I should have a room for you.
Thank you, and we would pay whatever we had to pay. Or we paid up front, didn't we?
You paid up front.
Yeah, we paid up front. And then we will walk to Percy and Storm, and they will be happy to see us.
Yes, they are very happy to see you. You get them ready. You take them to the library, tie them off at the library.
On the way, I will tell Storm that he will not be happy, but he needs to be a brave boy, and he needs to pull a card. I know it's below him, but he has to.
Percy is fine with that. He basically realizes that there's going to be... he's not. But Percy is kind of like, yeah, sure. As long as there are apples, which there aren't any, because you only have pears and plums, but you're not telling him.
Also, both of them, I will have to tell, you need to be very brave, because we are transporting something very dangerous. You will not be in danger, but you need to be brave, darlings.
Storm finds that much more acceptable now, because
and
he's
Percy
a war
does
horse.
Not like that.
No, and Percy kind of like goes, Mom, what's that about the danger thing?
I think on the way, Siobhan, we should see if we can grab more apples or pears or anything to keep them going. Because honestly, if they see Sarissa, they will not be happy.
Yeah, I know. So you basically tie off the horses. She gets a couple of pears. You go into the library.
We go slowly inside.
Where Sarissa is already waiting.
Aisling will calmly walk inside and will greet her by her name.
Mm-hmm.
Only a few more hours, then you're back in the woods. And Aisling would have a careful look at the desk. Are the books still closed and tied up?
Yeah.
Because
And-
we just let them lie around.
Siobhan actually managed to pass her willpower test, so
Okay.
she also manages to walk in because she hasn't had any good experiences with that thing, so she doesn't really.
Siobhan, why don't you start the fire again? We need to burn the books, I think.
All right, she kind of basically inches towards the fireplace, eyeing the manticore.
Aisling will very careful. She's still careful because it's still a wild animal. Did you find all your snacks?
A proud look, but also you can see that she's sleepy because obviously she has been eating drugged meat.
Yeah. Why don't you have a little nap? When night falls, we will leave.
She drinks some from the bucket and then she does actually settle down. She doesn't sleep, but she's kind of a little bit drowsy, and she's kind of in a calm state. So more like what you would expect the drug to do, because it's supposed to be calming. You don't want the pregnant mother to go to sleep. You want it to be calm.
Too calm. And
Yeah. And Siobhan is always kind of like looking over between you and the manticore.
I think Aisling would go back into humming the lullaby. A, because it's calming herself. And B, maybe it calms the manticore as well.
Yeah, so Rissa is really calm. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Siobhan basically takes the books, holds them up and says, into the fire.
Yeah, one after the other. Maybe start with the bloody one.
Yeah, she takes that one. She burns it. It takes a while, and once this is done, she takes the second one.
Yeah. Does anything... Aisling will stare and hope that nothing happens, like
Nothing
the
happens.
ghost
They
of
burn.
that.
It takes a while because of what they are made of. But yeah, and then Siobhan looks at you and she says, "You never fail to amaze me.
Why?
You had so many misgivings when we were with the fairies, about the things we saw. But now you tell me you see somebody turn into a manticore before your eyes, and you accept it so easily."
Well, I've seen it with my own eyes.
Yeah, but you saw the Vulpines, you saw the queen of the fairies, you saw the egg.
It's still weird and very unnatural. But it kind of worked. I'm just happy we found a way to save them.
It's still 4 hours till nightfall. How about you get some more sleep?
Okay. She will look over to Sarissa. Please behave.
Sarissa looks at you kind of like,
How
dare you!
Oh God, I made her angry. No. And all goes south from here. But Aisling will plonk her butt near the fire, just lean against, and would just close her eyes for a little bit. I'm not sure what Clover is doing, though.
Clover's trying to get out. He's in your breast pocket.
Darling, you would be eaten.
You hear kind of like a scratching sound as he's trying to claw his way out. Give him here. She puts out her hand.
Okay. I
I'll
will
take good
probably
care of him.
by the neck, be like carefully.
Arms and legs flailing.
Flapping wings, like,
Yeah.
come on, let me go. You behave too. She will eat you.
He looks at Siobhan, kind of like, you
Not
would
she-
eat me?
No, she would point at Kitty, obviously, and then Aisling would just lean back. Wake me when trouble.
You go to sleep. She says, there won't be any trouble. Just try to relax.
She's relaxing, although she kind of is like, she's kind of sure that Clover's curious. But well, we will hear when something goes wrong.
Then let's... Dare I roll?
Natural one.
Something does go wrong.
Okay.
I rolled a 62 over 34. That's against the luck.
At least it's not a 1.
Or a 100, because I rolled that too.
Or
That
100.
Yeah. You hear a noise of something toppling over, and you hear Siobhan saying, Clover, come back.
Aisling will open one eye to try
And
to
you
see
see
what's happening.
That she has climbed onto the table. The chair has toppled, and she's trying to catch Clover, who's flying above her, and basically diving and really taunting the manticore. That's kind of looking at it, going,
You're too small to be much fun to eat, probably.
but you're not too small to be prey for hunting.
Yeah, cat eats small things.
Yeah,
as well
and then-
when it
and then-
flaps around. I think Aisling would whistle to get the attention of at least Clover,
That works.
and Aisling would just look at Clover with "Come here," with a very calm but very stern voice. Now.
He realizes this is in earnest, and he flies towards you.
Aisling will hold out the hand.
Yeah, he lands.
I did not lie. She will eat you. She's a hunter, and you are very, very living close to the edge of dying, darling. Come on. It's just opening your pocket again.
He crawls in, he doesn't debate it.
A little bit of scratches and probably a little bit of something to eat. And then Aisling will give a smile to Siobhan, and she will just lean back again, hoping that Kitty Cat is not that interested in sniffing out what the hell that was.
No, so basically, cats like looking at things that move. As soon as they stop moving,
It's gone, yeah.
cats also find it a bit difficult to see.
Yeah.
So they
I think Aisling will not sleep really anymore, but she will at least like doze and collect some energy.
Yeah. But you can roll Wahrnehmung one more time for me, please.
Oh boy. That's an 18, so 24 success.
Siobhan really doesn't look well.
No.
She is very pale, and she looks completely exhausted.
I think if Siobhan is not sitting down as well to rest, Aisling would be like, why don't you sit down as well? Please?
I thought somebody should watch.
We will be fine.
She sits down next to you.
I will keep eyes and ears open. I'm done sleeping anyhow.
No, that's not it. I just can't get rest when I sleep. I have nightmares.
Tell me.
It's just... I keep running and running and running, and there's someone behind me. I don't know who. And then I wake up and I go to sleep again, and the same thing again. It started last night.
But you need sleep and rest.
It's certainly not her. And she looks at the manticore that's following me.
2 legs?
Huh.
Please don't tell me it's the author.
No.
And please tell me it's not him.
No. It's something I've never seen before. She sits down next to you.
Any description to keep eyes open if we meet that in real life?
Evil.
Though you will probably show quite easily. Evil.
I didn't mean to call you a liar.
I know. You're tired as well. And it's a big story to tell. Literally big story, because holy hell, 2 of them in here. I was kind of scared, but well.
You are just so brave.
I was trained
I know.
that way.
So, it's still okay to say it. You keep telling me how great a healer I am. I could also return, well, I was trained to be that.
Yeah, but you are brave as well, facing all of this insanity together with me. You were not trained on that.
I'll try and get some sleep.
Do that, and when that thing shows up, tell them they should go to wherever they came from. If not, I will come for them.
I think a lot of people would take this and just never return.
No, not all of them, as we know, but...
And
I
she
will be here
basically
watching.
slumps back,
Mm-hmm.
and after a while her head tilts to the side and falls onto your shoulder.
Yep, and Aisling would be... I think the moment Siobhan would close her eyes, Aisling would hum the lullaby again.
And let's see. Ooh, she rolled a 13 on her willpower over 34. She does sleep. And slowly the day wears on, and it's now close to 6 o'clock, you would guess. So you know it's going to be 2 more hours till nightfall. Siobhan is still sleeping. Also, Clover is beginning to scratch again.
Mm-hmm.
And he clearly wants out.
Just a second, darling. Aisling will very carefully try to move and get Siobhan in some kind of sleeping position.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Not
You
sure
can
if
do
it
that.
works.
Yeah. She is
And-
sound asleep.
I would look over at Sarissa. Not long. I will prep everything. We'll be back. And I will take Clover with me, but I will grab a little bit of food. Just like carefully feeding it. And no, you hate this, but you need to be patient. Don't be like your mom.
Excuse me? Well, she's sleeping. She didn't hear that. Uh-huh. So you go outside
Yep.
and you prep the horses.
Yep. Put them,
Percy
or
is
basically
kinda
grab
like-
the horses and grab the cart
Yeah.
to bring it over.
Percy is like, apples, great. I don't care. Or pears, I don't care. Stardom
I'm quite
is
sure
kind of...
Percy would have pulled carts before in
Yeah.
his life, for sure.
Stardom is like, so tell me more about this danger part.
Mm-hmm. It's a very big, dangerous hunting animal cat thingy. It would eat you as a snack. Percy as well.
That's kind of putting a dampener on things for him a little bit, but then he's
So-
like, must I?
You both need to behave and not be scared. It will not eat you. We will make sure of that.
You owe me big time in apples.
Yeah, and more than that probably. But it will upfront some apple, or at least a little bit of apple, and then
This is so beneath me.
Yeah. I know, darling. And she will give Storm at least a little bit of pats. The good thing afterwards, we are free to roam the lands again, which you will definitely enjoy more than standing in a stable.
And you basically, I mean, but at the end of the day, he is fully trained, so he will do what you ask him unless it's really weird. So he does kind of like, but yeah, the haughty look.
He definitely is not happy. He will do what he has to do because it's his job, as you said, but he will be annoyed.
Yes. Yes, I always think that he's kind of like high English aristocracy, and they don't get angry, they just get annoyed.
Yeah, that's exactly, I think, how he behaves. A little bit like a cat.
Yes, very much so. And you arrive at the library.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see three people coming.
Okay.
And the men both have like those big hampers that you can strap to your back, and they say, well, we can carry whatever produce you have for us. And then
feel free. She will open the back of the wagon. They start unpacking
and putting it all into the hampers. And Maria also has a hamper, so the three of them have these strap-on hampers.
Help a little, and let me wake up the rest. And she will step inside. Will close the door. She will not lock the door. She will put now, or she didn't even lock since Siobhan is inside, but she will put the keys on the desk. And then she will very carefully just poke Siobhan like, it's time to wake up.
Siobhan does wake up.
It's nighttime.
I slept.
Yeah, thank goodness.
I didn't dream.
Even better.
I feel a lot better now.
That's good.
She's a lot less pale.
That's good. Aisling will hold out the hand to pull her basically up.
She takes the hand.
The others are outside, just moving around things.
So how are we going to do this now?
We will wait until they're finished, and then we will see what Maria is saying.
After a while, Maria does step inside. She says, well, the cart is empty. We could bring her out now.
Then let's have a look outside that no one is around and try to be sneaky.
My friends are keeping watch.
Okay.
All right, so let's try this. She goes to the manticore, puts out her hand to it, and the manticore gets up and sniffs, and then she again just looks into its eyes, or her eyes, and the manticore is looking back, and then she says, we're ready to go.
Okay.
And
Siobhan probably like,
yeah,
and Aisling would be like, I told you at least part of this.
I think I prefer it that she doesn't turn.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool.
I can imagine.
I would love to be able to speak to Storm like that.
I honestly believe that he does understand a lot of the things that you tell him. I know Percy understands everything I say.
Storm understands also quite a lot, but let's go. Aisling would open the door, and I could imagine for the library that it's like a double door.
Yeah, it is.
So we would open both sides this time.
The manticore steps outside, goes down the 2 stairs, and there is the cart. The horses are now sniffing the predator.
Yeah, I think I would ask Siobhan if she can close the doors afterwards, and Aisling would step forward to Percy and Storm, just holding.
So here we are back after some technological problems.
So Aisling is with the horses trying to keep them as calm as possible because their instinct should be run.
Yeah. And Siobhan is basically helping the she's closing the door, and Maria is basically, you can tell she is telling or explaining to Sarissa what is going to happen. She's not leading her, she's not touching her, but she's basically pointing at the cart and just staring, and Sarissa steps onto the cart like it's nothing because she is quite tall, and she's a cat, so she can jump. And she basically gets into the cart and rolls up a little so that she fits, and then Maria pulls down the back tarpaulin, and then the horses, they stomp, but you're with them, so that's fine. And then Maria says, well, we are ready to go, and she puts on her strap-on backpack or hamper rather, and you two have your backpacks.
Yeah, and Aisling will lead.
Yeah, and you lead the horses towards the western gate. So there are two gates. There's the south gate and the west gate. And the west gate, when you leave by the... No, sorry. You have to go through the... Sorry, there isn't. You go through the south gate, and then you follow the path. Then you take a right, and then you go towards the river in the west. And you see... And that's not far. That's like half an hour or so. You can hear the river before you see it because it's dark already. Yeah. You can also kind of feel that there is water because the river is quite wide, and it's kind of like it feels a little bit kind of like cooler even there. And then you see a large stone bridge which spans the river.
That's what we heard about.
Yeah. You would guess that this bridge is easily 60 or 70 paces across, so it's about 70 meters, so it's actually quite wide, but it's flat, so it basically spans the river on its banks, and it's got one column or two it's like not a column, but it's kind of like a, whatever you call it, thing in the middle holding it up, so it spans the river from two sides. And you cross it. It's made of stone, so the wagon makes that noise, and it also kind of like, it's cobblestones, it also moves a little bit. You're lucky it's not rain, so it's dry, so the horse's footing is fine. And you cross the bridge. You arrive on the other side, and there you can it's now like again an earth-packed kind of like path. So it's not a road that has been paved at all. And there is kind of like flat grass. And in the distance, although it's dark, you can see darkness that is a little bit darker than the darkness. And Maya points, and that's our forest. It's going to take us about 2 hours to get there. And then we are beyond the trees, but I don't think we should let her out here. I would like to take her deeper into the forest, close to where we live, and there she has all the space that she needs, really.
Then let's do that. The only thing Aisling would do bravely enough, because I think these people have seen weird things as well. Aisling would take out Clover and just place them on the shoulder and be like, don't fly around, but enjoy the fresh air. It will flap around for sure, but well.
I think at the moment he's like, well, I mean, I've already angered her once, so I will not try again for another day or so.
This will not work. I think we need to wrap up.
Yeah. What is it? So, here you are.
There, she's back.
Ja, meine Internetverbindung ist instabil, danke, das habe ich auch verstanden. Ich verstehe nur nicht warum, weil es ist nichts an.
Ich habe keine Ahnung.
Das ist echt strange.
Let's wrap this up, I think.
Yeah.
Stepping into the forest, maybe
No,
also
I mean,
looking at the clock.
No,
it's
I was
anyhow-
actually gonna finish it here anyway.
Yeah.
So you walk towards the forest, and we shall leave it here.
Yes.
So
Thank you for Bye.
telling the story. It
Well,
went
thank you.
very differently from what I expected was going to happen, but we thank you all for listening and watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.
I hope so too.
Did you enjoy it?
I loved it. I'm really happy that we managed to get it out in one piece and not having to kill it.
Yeah, I didn't expect that at all. It's got stats and everything. But hey, I like this ending a lot better. So we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Yes. Bye.
O hi hi mina morviena, o hi hi mina korviena, o hi hi mina karechen, hi mina skaren focho, hi mi gondalan taches an trukuk mi, kerer or am feilches a chan en a hookus mi, jev mi an eigus gran rukim, nach rech ging tunich en or. O hi hi mina morviena, o hi hi mina korviena, o hi hi mina karechen, hi mina skaren fuicho.